Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Gracie's Faith Journey. If you have been following me for a long time, you know that this week is a very important week. I'm getting baptized! And if you were watching yesterday's video, I'm doing this whole little segment, hey, I found the right word, of different videos every day until the day I get baptized. Just to explain different things, go through different things, and talk about things of how I'm getting ready for this. So, baptism. So yesterday I talked about why I'm getting baptized, what it means to me to get baptized. Today I am talking about we all make mistakes, we all sin, and God always finds a way to come back, and I've always found ways to go back to God. So that's what I'm talking about today. But before I get into that, I want to share my Bible verse that I use all the time with this whole channel is Matthew 19:26. With God, all things are possible. That's only a little part of it, but there's more to it. But that's the one I know through my head is with God, all things are possible. Sorry. So if you are new here and you want to be able to follow along with my segment, go back and watch yesterday's video so you understand what is going on and who I am as a person and why I'm doing this, and then come back and watch this video. And if you haven't done so yet, please like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications, and share and comment your favorite Bible verse. And let's get started. So the change of setting today is my front porch because it's raining. But I'll be fine. I'm too close to the camera. 1 second. Anyway, that's better. Anyways, today we're talking about sin and mistakes and all this and all that. My dog's making random noises on the front porch. So, okay, I gotta be careful because my grandpa was just outside smoking and I don't want him to interrupt my video, so I gotta be careful. But anyways, we're talking about mistakes with God or sinning or all that, and every Christian, I don't care what anybody says, Christians make mistakes. No matter how long they've been following God or how I've only been following God for maybe 8 months. Well, I've been going to church for 8 months. I haven't been, following God. I started following God on August 3rd. It is currently October... I didn't forget the date. I'm sorry. 1 second. October 7th. So, it's been about 2 months. It's been about 2 months of me following God. And no matter if it's been 1 week of you following God or 5 years of you following God, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes either way. And we all make mistakes. If you're human, you make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, then you're not human. And God died on the cross to forgive us for our sins or our mistakes. He forgives us instantly, but it does take a lot of courage to admit that you did something wrong. I've learned that the hard way with tons and tons of friendship arguments. In that moment, I'm like, well, I'm not in the wrong, they're in the wrong. And then I'll sit back in the future and I'm like, I was in the wrong. I was totally in the wrong for that part. There's one current one that I just stopped being friends with about a year ago. It was for the spring fling, and they were talking about some things, well, I was talking about some things, and I said some things that I totally did not mean. They took them out of context, which is fine. Everybody takes things out of context all the time. I do all the time. So, they took what I said out of context and made it sound like I was being the bad person. And sitting back, I may or may not have been the bad person with the way I was saying. I'll sit back now and I'll be like, well, the way I said that, I understand why they misread what I said because of the way I said it. So I do sit back and I'm like, well, yeah, maybe I was in the wrong, or maybe I said the wrong things in the wrong way, but the fact that they never let me really explain myself or what I was feeling. They just told me I was lying the whole time. It's not like I had a chance to be like, well, this is what I meant, this is what you think I meant, this is what I actually meant. And we all make mistakes like that all the time. There's been a couple people that I've been friends with that I regret ever being friends with them. But like I said yesterday, God brings people in your life for a reason, and God takes people out of your life for a reason. So it's totally normal to feel that way. Semi. Sorry, I get excited when semis are around because my grandpa used to drive semis before he passed away. So semis are like a big thing for me. Sorry, off track. My bad, it's really loud. So yeah, we all make mistakes, and if you don't make mistakes, you're not human. So one mistake that I've ever made, which I just said, was saying some things I probably should have never said. Another mistake that I made, that I make all the time, well, the mistake of saying things that I probably should have never said was before God. That was definitely before God. There's a couple other ones that I definitely made before God, and they aren't like major, like, oh my gosh, why did I do that kind of thing. They're not like, oh my gosh, she's a bad person for doing that. It's, why did I do that? That was so stupid of me to do that. So there is a couple more that I can't think of off the top of my head, but the main ones are the drama. But the current ones that I make with my relationship with God is is not trusting God. I make that a lot. I did that before I got baptized. I used to say, I said the big yes, but before I decided to get baptized, I couldn't pull myself enough to trust God's word. And that was because I didn't read my Bible every day. I didn't try to study my Bible. I had the resources, I just didn't use the resources the way they were supposed to be used. So it was a lot of, if I wasn't listening to God, or I wasn't trusting in God because I wasn't doing what I needed to trust God. I didn't pray a lot. I did every night, it was the same prayer every night. Nothing changed ever. But then I'm like, well, He's done answered those prayers every night, no matter what it is. I mean, it's the same prayer every night. So I learned to change up the prayers depending on my situation, what I'm doing the next day, or what's happening within a month or a week, or what's happening to somebody at school or a family member. Like, I've learned to change it up so I can get closer to God and trust in God. But I've always known, no matter how far I've been in this relationship with God, I've always known from the beginning that God knows what you're going to say before you even say it. God knows what's going to happen in your story before you even get there. He has your story written before you're even thought of, which is crazy to even think about. So, I do take a lot of God. So that's one of the mistakes I made. I do take a lot of God, what God has done to this world, who God has brought me into my life. I take those for granted. I take over the granted the fact that God made the beautiful world that is outside my door, because I sit on my phone all the time. So I did learn to come outside, read my Bible, do devotional, and study my Bible, and have a prayer outside, and a worship outside, because God created the outside, and I tend to take that for granted. That's why I also, when I'm doing this whole segment of videos, I'm changing my location every day. The only reason why this one is only like 6 feet from yesterday's location is because it's raining. So I do tend to take a lot of what God made for me for granted. But I'm planning on changing that at some point, and I'm starting to change that in some ways. I do take the people God gave me for granted. They may not be followers of God, but I know that they came from God. And I do take that for granted a lot. But there's some certain people in my life where I'm like, they aren't followers of God, but they're definitely a gift from God, which makes no sense in some ways, but it makes some sense in some ways. Like, there's Colton. Ow! I just had a hand cramp. Sorry, there's Colton. He's my, I don't really know what it is, but my aunt, Colton's dad is my aunt's friend. So, and he's a great kid. I love that kid. Colton, if you're watching this, when's the next time we can hang out? Because I miss the hangouts. I need to hang out. But anyways, Colton is hilarious. He's definitely not a child of God that I'm aware of, but he's awesome. He's amazing. I love him. He's hilarious. And as far as I'm concerned, he's dating one of my best friends that are my cousins. So, like, it's a full circle moment for me just to watch that happen, because they are adorable. Sorry, I'm like being mushy again, but anyways, Colton's amazing. He's funny, he's hilarious. And I hope we can keep that friendship alive for the rest of our lives. Who else is there? I'm trying to think of people that aren't family. If you are my family, there's a reason you're in this family, and I don't need to say anything, but if you aren't, like, blood related to me, because Colton may be part of my family, I don't really know what it is that's there, but he's not blood related, so I'm doing people that aren't blood related to me. Oh, there's Morgan, my uncle's girlfriend's daughter. I've only met her 3 times. 4. 5. I don't know. I've met her 5 times. I love her to pieces. She's the best. We'll see each other in the hallways at school and we'll be like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, we just seen each other the other day and it was pretty good. And I know some of these people may not be gifts from God, but they make me feel happy, and that's a good thing. There's Adri that I sit with in math class, and she's probably tired of me because all I do is talk in math class. And I pick on her about her boyfriend all the time, and she's probably tired of it, but she signed up to have this friendship, so it sucks to suck. Yeah, I love Adri. She's awesome. I have a blast with her. I've never been introduced to her boyfriend completely, but the way she talks about him, I can tell she's happy, and that's all I want for her. There's Cheyenne. She is a child of God. She got baptized in 2012, but she's planning on getting rebaptized. And her stepmom worked with my mom at one point, so her stepmom and my mom talk sometimes, and that's how me and Cheyenne were introduced, is because her stepmom told her, if you see a girl that has red hair and has braces, her name's Gracie, say hi to her. So there was one random day I'm walking in the hallway, never met Cheyenne in my life, and she goes, are you Gracie? I was like, I didn't know who it was. And then I came home and I told my mom about how this random girl walked up to me and I had no idea who she was. And then it took a couple days for me and my mom to figure out who it was. And then me and Cheyenne clicked instantly. And my school has this group, it's called Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And you don't have to be an athlete, you don't have to be Christian to get that. It's totally up to you. Any staff and students are all welcome. And if it wasn't for meeting Cheyenne, I would have never went to FCA. And FCA is pretty darn cool. I love FCA. It's pretty awesome. They do, like, it's literally a mini church session on Friday mornings once a month. It's pretty cool. I love it. Who else is there? Trying to think. I know. Oh, Ava. I talked about Colton. I need to talk about Ava since they're siblings. Ava's awesome. I love her. She's like a little sister to me. She's not blood related, but she's like a little sister. Love her to pieces. She's awesome. I feel like I love hanging out with younger kids, so younger kids are like my best friends. I have so many kids that are younger than me that I am like best friends with. I love younger kids. They're awesome. Who else is there? Oh, Tegan. I've been friends with her since kindergarten. We haven't seen each other in 2 years, but because she moved away, I don't remember when. But I do still think about her, and I do still think of the memories, and we don't talk as much as we used to, but she lives in Delaware, and she has a bunch of horses, and Delaware does like a horse parade. Like, I don't remember when it is, but it's once a year, and last year, they already did it this year. Last year I seen Tegan, and it felt pretty good. This year I didn't see Tegan there because she didn't go because her horse that she took there last year passed away like a couple months after that parade, and she got a new horse, and she's still currently trying to get used to her new horse, so she wasn't able to bring her new horse to the parade. There's Leo. I cheered for him in Special Olympics when he played basketball. He's an awesome kid. He's hilarious. I sit with him at lunch. He's dating one of my friends, London, and he's not a child. He's not a child of God. None of these, except for Cheyenne, are a child of God that I'm aware of. And he's pretty great. He's awesome. He's hilarious. I could sit and talk with that kid for hours, and I'd be dying laughing the whole time. Then there's London. We started being friends in 7th grade science class. And she's dating Leo, and she sits at my lunch table, and she's hilarious. I love her. But yeah, those people I tend to take for granted. Because all of those people, and plenty more, I tend to take for granted. Because I've had there's Briley. I know some people may be like, well, Briley is not a good person. Well, I've known Briley long enough to where Briley is a good person deep down. Then there's Marley. I've known her for about 2 years. She's pretty great. Love her. Olivia. I also cheered with her when I cheered for Leo in basketball because she cheered for her brother in Special Olympics. So I've known her since 5th grade. So there's Emma too. Me and her aren't close as we used to. There's Layton. There's so many others. But like, I tend to take those people for granted, and plenty more, because in the past I've had friendships where they're fake. So every friendship that comes to me, I'm afraid they're fake, and they're like the best friendships ever, and I hate the feeling of knowing that they might be fake friendships, and they're not the best, but they're the best friendships ever, and it's scary. It definitely is very scary to think that. So that's why I take them for granted, is I'm too worried about the bad instead of enjoying the good. So I take those for granted too. What else do I make mistakes with God? Oh, I make the mistake of not praying as much as I should, or reading my Bible as much as I should, or reading my Bible too fast as much as I should, or just speeding through it and just highlighting complete randomness and not even giving a care in the world. I did that a lot before I said the big yes. With cleaning, while watching church service on my TV, I tend to clean my room because it's on Sundays, and I need to stop doing that, and I need to, if I can't make it to church service, I need to sit and I need to watch church service at my house in my bed instead of cleaning while doing church service, because I feel that's just I'm not getting a good enough experience through that. There's a lot I take for granted for God that I can't think of off the top of my head. But God forgives us in every way, and I veer off the track of following God multiple times. Like, this is the track, and I'll be on the track, and then I'll just veer off. God brings me back on track, and we start over, and then it's different every time. God knows how to bring me back, and I go back, and every time, and I don't do the things I should do for about, I don't do the things I shouldn't do for about a month, and then I'll go back to doing those things I shouldn't do, and then I'm right off track again. So, people make mistakes. It's okay to get off track as long as you are willing to admit to God that, oh, I made a mistake, I need to go off track. And to me, that's hard because, like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not the type of person to be honest with somebody. Well, I can be honest all the time. I can just look at you and be like, oh, well, your hair needs brushed. I do that with my sister. Like, she doesn't brush her hair. So I'll literally look at her and go, your hair needs brushed. With the dog barking, I'll be like, shut up, you're annoying. And it's a dog, so it's not like it's gonna do anything. One other thing that I do take for granted, and I shouldn't take this for granted with God, is I do judge people. And I know I shouldn't because I get judged all the time and I hate being judged. But I think everybody has their own opinions, and mine aren't bad, but the second I say, well, like, it'll be somebody laughing really loud in class, and I'm like, why are they talking or laughing so loud? I'm like, why am I judging them for it? Let them do that. Let you stop judging, because why? You don't like being judged, so don't judge them. So I do that a lot. There's also love thy neighbor, like you love your enemy, or something like that. Love thy neighbor, love thy enemy. And I try my hardest to love my enemies, but it can be hard. I do have some enemies that or people that aren't friends with anymore, or people that I don't really talk to because they're just those people that don't talk to me, that I do feel like I'm still nice to them, no matter what. Like, one girl that I've had drama with since 7th grade, and we've been on and off with friendships. There's still pieces of me that are like, this, and this, and then there's pieces of me that hate her guts, and then there's pieces of me that love her guts. So, like, I try my hardest to love my enemies like I love my neighbors. But yeah, I do. So basically all the things that I've talked about is I take a lot for granted with God. And I tend to do it. So I tend to take a lot for granted. I tend to not trust God as much as I should. I tend to talk bad about, or have, how did I say it? I don't remember how I said it. I tend to have bad opinions about people a lot, which I need to stop. And I tend to not take time for God in my own life. And I tend to talk about God. This is not something I'm going to get deep into. But I tend to talk about how much I love God and talk about how I appreciate God, but then the second I finish that, I'll turn around and just not say anything about anything that God has done for me. So I tend to be in an on and off relationship, and I do need to fix that. But yeah, that was pretty much everything that I've done with God, and I was completely honest with you, so if you heard something you did not like, or if you heard me talking about somebody that you know deep down who I'm talking about, I am sorry. Don't get mad at me. I want to be honest in these videos, and I'm going to be honest as much as I can, and if you are not happy with it, I am sorry. But that was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications, and comment your favorite Bible verse, and share this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's video. Bye!